Good morning, Lakemont. Wanted to send the video a little bit early today because I wanted to share what's known as a morning prayer with you. One of the special things that we found when we were cleaning out my mom's house was a copy of her Book of Common Prayer. This is standard liturgy for the Episcopal Church. This is the 1928 edition. That there's an inscription in it saying it was given to my mom on January 13th, 1952 from my great-grandmother and my great-aunt. And I wanted to start with reading one of the morning prayers from that briefly. We need grace each morning, and so I think this is a wonderful little prayer to start our day with. O Lord, save thy people, and bless thine heritage. Govern them and lift them up forever. Day by day we magnify thee, and we worship thy name ever, world without end. Vouchsafe, O Lord, to keep us this day without sin. O Lord, have mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us. O Lord, let thy mercy be upon us, as our trust is in thee. O Lord, in thee have I trusted. Let me never be confounded. And when I first read that, I thought, keep me this day without sin. That's impossible. God doesn't do that until we're glorified. But then I realized this is expressing a desire. Our desire should be that each day the Lord would keep us from all sin, even though we know in reality that will not happen until we are perfectly glorified when Christ comes again, but that should be the desires of our hearts. I wanted to shift gears also, and we're told in 2 Corinthians that we are able to comfort others with the comfort we have received in trials. And so I always find it helpful when we learn from and are ministered by people out of their weakness rather than out of their strength. One of the Scottish Puritans, Thomas Boston, was someone who suffered greatly in life. His wife continually had health issues throughout her life that put a burden on their marriage, and history tells us that Boston himself and his wife buried 6 of their 10 children. I can't imagine losing one child, but to lose 6 of 10 before you yourself die must have been agonizing. And yet, like most of the Puritans, he turned his hope to God, and he wrote a book called The Crook in the Lot. Better define that. The lot means your lot in life, your circumstances, the shape of what's going on. The crook refers to unforeseen troubles, things that afflict us, disturb us, or unsettle us. Maybe a global pandemic, maybe being stuck inside, separated from people you care about, whatever that looks like. So I just wanted to read a tiny bit from The Crook in the Lot, where Boston talks about what a waste it is if we don't submit to it and learn from these crooks in our lives, from these afflictions, that's God's intention for us. So let me read just a little bit from Boston's The Crook in the Lot. Great is the loss by not submitting under it. The crook in the lot, rightly improved, has turned to the best account and made the best time to some that ever they had all their life long, as the psalmist from his own experience testifies. Before I was afflicted, I went astray. But now have I kept thy word. Psalm 119:67. There are many now in heaven who are blessing God for the crook they had in their lot here. What a sad thing must it then be to lose this fair wind for Emmanuel's land. Meaning, those crooks in the lots are what drives our sails, pushing us to heaven. Part of our sanctification process that the Lord has determined. He continues, but if the crook in your lot do you no good, be sure it will not miss of doing you great damage. It will hugely increase guilt and aggravate your condemnation, while it shall forever cut to the heart to think of the pains taken on you by means of the crook in the lot to wean you from the world and to bring you to God, but all in vain. Take heed, therefore, how you manage it, lest thou mourn at the last and say, how I have hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof. Proverbs 5:10-12. In other words, we're reminded, as Jerry Bridges might say, God never wastes pain. He always has a good purpose for it. Are we looking for what God's purpose is? If we cannot see it, if nothing else, our pain, our struggles, the crooks in our lots should cause us more frequently and more fervently to turn to Him, to cry out to Him, and maybe even to ask, Lord, how will you use this? What are you teaching me? I pray that whatever crook is in your lot right now, that the Lord would be using it for your good, and that you would see it that way. I love you, Lakemont. I miss you, and I will talk to you again soon.